vessel Galactic Observer is prepared to explore the unmapped reaches of the galaxy. But something more than scientific discovery awaits its crew in the cold reaches of space.
Shenanigans back again, and welcome to MMOMG. I'm 3 weeks into WildStar and still enjoying the leveling experience. Despite questing in areas I'm a bit over-leveled for, my third week in game was fairly productive, mostly due to instance queues. See, I'm a sucker for completing quests and wanting to see every zone, which admittedly isn't helpful when trying to make progress on a time limit, that being a month per game. Having the convenience of leveling via multiple instance queues allows me to take my sweet time through the zones and still level up. This does leave me with mixed feelings, though, as the convenience of leveling via queues can easily pose the threat of invalidating zone content. To be fair, it's an issue most MMOs with an LFG system have to deal with, and is in no way unique to WildStar. While I could debate the pros and cons of instance queues probably for days, I think I have a far more controversial and topical issue to discuss in this video, which is, what's with all the WildStar hate? As I started looking into this game, I found an abnormal amount of negativity directed at it. I'm not talking about people vocally complaining about a game or certain aspects of it for whatever reason. That's common for any title, and quite frankly a necessary and mostly healthy part of player feedback. I'm concerned more by the disinformation that's been posted about this game over the last few years. Just doing some basic searches about WildStar in general as I began playing this month, I learned that the MMORPG subreddit has seemingly made a hobby out of downvoting WildStar posts with no explanation. My cynical, preconceived notion of Reddit, that of an apocalyptic wasteland rife with fanboy flame wars and ruled by some mentally challenged form of hive mind, sadly reinforced by this news. Way to keep it classy, people. I guess that's at least better than spreading outright lies and disinformation about a game, which is apparently the poop du jour found on other forums and quote-unquote news outlets. Take a look at this year-old article by Polygon's Philip Collar, who cites an anonymous source saying that the game only had a few months left. Spoiler alert, that's wrong. Closely following that, speculation made the jump to ludicrous speed. People started claiming that WildStar's Steam release was going to be cancelled. Thankfully, that rumor was quickly dispelled several days later with a tweet from the game's director clarifying that the Steam release was in fact still happening. In addition to, and at least partially because of, the doomsayers, downvoters, and manure spreaders, there's an overall apathetic reluctance regarding this game. It seems there's a lot of people unwilling to try or return to WildStar only because its population is low. I hope I'm not the only person to see the cyclical downward spiral / self-fulfilling prophecy this mentality creates. I hate to break it to you, but if that's your reason for not participating in something, you're actually part of the problem. That said, the steady stream of YouTube clickbait poking at this game's population and future certainly doesn't help matters. I'm not going to start drama by naming names, as honestly, those types of channels already see enough undeserved attention. Instead, let me offer the following suggestion. If you're on the fence about something as trivial as whether or not to try a free-to-play MMO, just download it and give it a go already. Assuming you don't have a highly addictive personality or something, your losses are fairly minimal, perhaps a few hours of free time. If you're reluctant to play a game because of a low population, just give it a shot. It'll be a lot easier convincing your friends to join you if it's something you can already personally vouch for. As for those that have already tried WildStar and left, I think I can address at least a couple of the most popular gripes out there. If that hardcores only mentality turned you off, you can probably take another look at this game now. Since Carbine's big layoff last year, the focus seems to have shifted to a more mainstream audience. Having never played the title until this month, I was surprised to see how newbie-friendly both the game and the player base are right now. The game's performance and optimization seems to come up quite a bit, and honestly, I can't really tell you that it's 100% fixed. Moving through the capital city of Thade, especially while streaming, can be a real lagfest. Everywhere else so far has been fine, from world zones to dungeons, though I've yet to personally witness players take down a world boss or see large-scale PvP. Speaking of PvP, it looks like WildStar's focus is pretty much on PvE content at this time. I imagine part of that stems from not having a player base large enough to really support PvP very well at the moment. When you think about what they were trying to bring to the table with war plots, though, it's obvious that at one time PvP was a pretty high priority. As I understand it, PvP is a bit of a hot mess visually, with telegraphs and numbers kind of flying around everywhere. I've heard it can be significantly improved with add-ons and some setting changes, but obviously it must not work all that great out of the box. Finally, I'd like to address what was either arrogance, ignorance, or gross exaggeration on the part of Carbine back before the game was really fully released. As I understand, they made a claim that they would be releasing monthly content updates, which they then pulled back to every 3 to 4 months. Recently, Power the Primal Matrix released, but the previous major content patch before that was about 7 months ago. I find it astonishing that any developer would even attempt to make a claim like this. Of course, I'm equally surprised by anyone actually believing it's feasible, let alone really reasonable. While I'm in no way defending Carbine for such an outrageous claim, I'm also not holding a grudge against them for backing out on it. I was somewhat burned out on MMOs when WildStar released, so I don't have the emotional investment that others probably do. That said, it's not really the first time a developer and or publisher has exaggerated, overstated, or perhaps even lied, and it certainly wasn't the last or the largest, even within the MMO genre. Oh, and one final thing. If you left WildStar due to lack of content updates and broken promises, I can understand that. I mean, it's not like World of Warcraft ever had a lapse in patches or scrapped enough content to make another whole MMO out of... Oh, wait. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. I know it's quite a bit different from my other ones, but I feel the topic is absolutely worth its own video and discussion. What are your thoughts on the negativity surrounding WildStar? Do you think it's warranted? Are you reluctant to try the game, and if so, why? If you quit the game, what was it that made you stop playing? I'm interested in finding out, so leave me a comment below or message me on Twitter at Sheenance1930. Next week, I'll be wrapping up my month in WildStar. Unfortunately, I don't foresee myself getting far enough by then to say much about the new Primal Matrix system, but you never know. Join me on the Entity server or watch live Sundays through Wednesdays starting 8 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/shenanigans1930. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing for more MMO-related content. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys. We got that one right. What is the most important part of a sandwich? Bacon. Profit. Bacon. That's not fair. I mean, the answer is obviously bacon. Bacon. Bacon adds 22% more value to any product.